AM 560, The Answer.
My next guest, her resume, her credentials, her education, very, very impressive. But it's her courage, I think, history will remember the most. 20 years, board-certified emergency physician, Stanford-educated attorney, the visionary who led a pivotal press conference, event that broke the spell of the coronavirus pandemic, revealed it for what it is, creating one of the most viral moments in modern history. She became the founder of America's Frontline Doctors. She also founded Gold Care. She is Dr. Gold. She has a new book out for kids, The Plot Against Kids, a true COVID story. Dr. Gold, how are you?
Good afternoon. I'm great. Thank you so much, Sean.
Well, I love the opportunity to talk to you because I remember that press conference. And more importantly, I remember thinking to myself, it's so nice to see people with the credentials that are normally used as a weapon against the people is speaking up against the system that wants you to buy what that was and the result and then the cure. And it's really fascinating how you held fast and gave people options. And you were attacked for that, weren't you?
Oh, yes, very much so. But I'm like you. I didn't like the elite people acting as though they were more important or more intelligent than the average person, right? You have the elite just making decisions for everybody, and I rebel against that with every fiber of my being.
Yes, the elite like Whoopi Goldberg, who thought Jill Biden would be a great Surgeon General, the moron that she is. And you know what's funny, Dr. Gold, is when you look at this, it really is the silver lining in all of this abuse, all of this deceit, all of this profiteering, and all of this lying, is it really opened up the average citizen who was born into luxury in this country, born into a health system the best in the world, no question about it. But as it tried to grab power, it kind of woke up society. It woke up the citizen. It took the people who wanted to think and said, wait a minute, I don't like the looks of this. And somebody like me, even, who likes to think he's on top of things. I had no idea that 99% of pharmaceuticals are all based in a petroleum soiree, in a petroleum-based vaccine, a petroleum-based medication. I had no idea how much oil was actually in pharmaceuticals.
Oh, that's an interesting angle. I come at it from a different approach, but they're both equally terrible. One of the things I think about is that the pharmaceutical supply chain, I thought you were going to say this, 95% of it is offshore. 95% of it is not built here in America, which makes me very nervous in terms of geopolitical events, right? Because we could completely be extorted, essentially, in a situation where another country might withhold medications from us. So for two reasons, we need to get a grip on this.
Well, what you also brought were alternatives to what the government was telling you needed to be treated for this and so many other illnesses. And, to me, it's always about the money. I grew up in a neighborhood that focused on the angles of money and how the government, if it assists you in a monopoly, well, now you've got something. And when you look at this industry, when you look at the kind of money we're talking about and control and power, and then you look at our own society, lucky enough to be old, I feel right now, I'm in my fifth decade. But the reality is when you see the quality of life for children, when you see the amount of kids that are on pharmaceuticals, when you see the change and the weakness in our society, everybody's got some sort of allergy nowadays. When I was a kid, nobody had an allergy. So I believe it all traces back to the very cure that the government and the big pharma tells us they're curing us. I think they may be getting us just sick enough to stay alive and be good customers.
Yeah, correct. And exactly, to stay alive and keep buying their products. I saw two things that are just in common daily life that I think everyone can resonate with. One was about 10 or 12 years ago. I was camp doctor for a week at my son's camp. And I was shocked. 1/3 of the children were on medication. I could not believe it. It was either ADD medicine or asthma medicine or some psychiatric medicine. I had no idea. When I went to camp, nobody was on medicine. That was one thing that was very shocking. And then the other is you just look around and you see kind of how overweight and, sort of malaise the children are. And in my work in the ER, patients are on so many medicines, Sean. If you're over 40 and you weren't on a medicine, you were in the minority. Most people between 40 and 50 were on like 2 to 3 meds, and most people over 50 were on like 3 to 5 meds. I'm sorry, when did that get to be normal? It was just in my lifetime this has become normalized. So I believe that the pharmaceutical industry needs to be reined in. I'm not against the pharmaceutical industry. I'm against the regulatory capture where our government allows our pharmaceutical industry to act in very unconscionable ways.
I'm also against the idea that they're not observing the reality of what is happening in our society. Those very things you enumerated, but those when you look at the causes of all of these circumstances, it coincides with the exact time they started to inundate infants with insane amounts of medication at birth. 20 years ago, my kids are in their 20s. I was amazed 20 years ago. When you look at the way that's upticked over the last 10 years, when will the so-called experts and the doctors and the scientists say, we may be doing something wrong? And if you say that now as an outlier, you're attacked. You're attacked as a doctor. Yeah. Imagine a layperson. So it's really interesting to watch how they're protecting a system that by all definitions of failure is a failure.
Total failure. I'm just going to plug a book that's not my book, but Vax Facts. If you're interested in the vaccine subject, Vax Facts by Dr. Paul Thomas. He breaks it down completely. I don't know. The doctors are really just employees of the system. They're really government doctors at this point. So I'm not expecting much from doctors. I do want people to stand up for themselves and do what's best for themselves. You are the person who cares the most if your body's healthy. You have to live with it all of your life. And you have to be very cautious and very skeptical of what most doctors say. So I'm right there with you.
Well, what's amazing, too, is you're exactly right. They're government doctors. But that really happened after Obama. Obamacare backdoor nationalized the entire healthcare system, and it's fun now to watch the Democrat mafia, as I call them. Some people call them Democrats. The Democrat mafia during the shutdown, as they talk about, well, we have to get this subsidy in for healthcare. Well, why not address the fact you drove up health insurance costs 400%, number one, but you also simultaneously drove out 50% of the hospitals, 50% of the doctors and nurses. It's amazing.
There's so much wrong with our healthcare system, and you're exactly right. It's a really interesting, long conversation. But Obama put us on the path of socialism, and which is, of course, is just a stepping stone to communism with the American, the ACA, Obamacare. It was a disaster. I teach people exactly how to get off health insurance. That may sound radical, Sean, but, the average family of four is spending $2,200 a month on health insurance premiums. And not only are they wasting the money, throwing away the money, they're not really getting good financial safety for that money. They're also being blocked from medical freedom choices. It is actually why I built Gold Care. I don't know if you know about it.
Yes.
This is the way you can take care of yourself and save a ton of money. Goldcare.com. And I'm going to shock everybody when I say I have not had medical insurance pretty much since Obamacare. Sounds radical, right? Because I seem like a responsible person, but it's because the insurance model is terrible for your health. So what I do, I have a financial safety net in place. So Gold Care would teach you how to have that financial safety net, but to get off the insurance, because the insurance is restricting your medical choices, and it's also if they're thieves, they're taking money from your pocket.
Well, it's almost like an unwhispered secret of reality. Insurance companies are rich, and they own those massive buildings and pay those massive salaries because it's a scam, because they don't really do what they say they're going to do. It's a great sales pitch made up by a couple of bookies. They're not interested in actually following through, and there is no such thing as insurance. It is a word salad. It doesn't exist, and everybody is dying by the minute. Oh, you don't even have health care. You have death care. And the more you take care of yourself, the better it is. Yet they found a way to psychologically capture Americans and human beings in thinking if I only pay $2,500 a month, everything's going to be great. It's all a lie, isn't it?
Sean, you totally you understand it. That is exactly right. It is a lie. If you're listening to my voice, I'm telling you, paying those health insurance premiums is not the way to go. You should have a financial safety net if you have any assets in your life. That's a fact. But you should not be joining a health insurance. You should go to goldcare.com. We will teach you how to get off health insurance. It's really bad for you financially, and it's also bad for your medical freedom choices. They want to keep you just sort of buying, the prescriptions and doing the procedures. It's just kind of a model, the financial model. It didn't used to be this bad. It has changed over the course of my career. So I'm very against the insurance companies, very much so.
Well,
look, the guy killed somebody on the street. That's how angry people are. You all know they're terrible, so why do you pay them?
Well, the other thing is I think it's just such a financial fraud and a financial crime. And you look at the debt of this country the vast majority of it, is in hiding the fact of what it costs to backdoor nationalize our society. And you look in our once great city of Chicago, there are thousands upon thousands of shootings. Nobody has insurance. All on top of it all, on top of it all, on top of it all. It's bankrupting society. But there's some mechanism in the psyche where people want to feel good about a system that they know that fails. And the other side that never gets mentioned, the businesses, the marriages that broke up, the cost to the ordinary citizen and the destruction of his wealth in paying $2,500 a month for insurance that when you need it, it's $15,000 deductible. It's insane.
That's my mission. So when you have traditional health insurance, first of all, they restart again January 1st. If you had an accident in November, December, you're paying it again January 1st. They say your deductible is this, but it's really not. It's about double what they say. The only reason most people don't know that is because it never really reached their deductible. There is a better way. It is insane to be having health insurance. It does not keep you healthy. It's actually bad for your health. It's bad for your financial health. It's bad for your bodily health. You and I are on the exact same page. And it all got revealed during COVID when your doctors, who you thought were working for you, you discovered they were actually working for the insurance agencies and corporate owners, because if they were working for you, they would have helped you. But they weren't working for you.
You know what else is funny? I have a couple of friends, and we're in our, like I said, we're all in our fifth decade, right? So I gave up golf. I'm out golfing. This is a while ago. I was back in Illinois. We're golfing, and we're playing. I said, "Boy, are we going to be sore in the morning?" We're laughing about how to get older. My one friend said to me, "I'm on ivermectin." What do you mean you're on ivermectin? He takes it. He goes, "I feel great. My joints feel great." It all came out when you did your speech and you said, "Listen, there's other alternatives and there's other options and all this." There are millions of people that take ivermectin now just to prevent themselves as a prophylactic. There are so many different options that are in nature that have been around for 100 years, 150, 400 years. And yet none of it approved, none of it mentioned by the government industry of medicine, is it?
Right. So I'm sorry, I keep going back to it, but we solve all these problems for people. You want to get your hands on ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, complementary cancer care. People use ivermectin for all sorts of reasons, right? Goldcare.com has you covered. We absolutely have you covered. We hear you. We know. We take the government out of it, quite frankly, and we give you medical freedom back in your hands. I mean, that's been an opportunity since the COVID years, is that I've met the best doctors, the best, the most righteous people, doctors who actually want to help people.
Yes, and that needs to be taught to the kids. So I'm assuming a lot of this. Because is this a book for kids, or is this a book to educate parents about what the plot against kids is? Oh, my
gosh. Please. Okay, it's easy to find on Amazon. It just came out. It's called The Plot Against the Kids, A True COVID Story. This is where I explain how the COVID years, like what really was going on. What was really going on was, kind of destroying the authority of the parents and the family, because the family unit is really what pushes back on government tyranny. What do communist nations always try to do? They need to break down the family, because the family is very strong against the government. So when you looked around at what happened during COVID, they closed the schools, the government was in charge, they got kids very scared. So this book, The Plot Against the Kids, explains all of this in a way that you can understand. What was the masks? What was the 6-foot social distancing? All of that in a really accessible way. Nobody has written a book like this, Sean. It's really delightful. I think you should get 10 copies. You give them out to everybody, people on the right, people on the left. This is the real story of what happened during COVID. It's a children's book, but adults will love it.
Well, I love it, and I love everything you've done, and it's always a joy to talk to you, and I appreciate it. I know how busy you are, but one thing before I let you go, when we talk about Gold Care, one of the ways that the government works to perpetrate the financial crime of the Affordable Care Act is that they hold companies and individuals hostage, right? So independent people can have the option to move around, but companies, have they been approached? Can companies partake in Gold Care? Can you have some sort of
I have to just jump in. Absolutely. If you're a small business owner listening to my voice, come to goldcare.com, send us an email. We are going to lower your insurance, the amount you're paying for your insurance for your employees, by about 30-40%. We're going to show you how. We'll show you how.
And I'm not even a broker. I'm not even a broker for Gold Care.
I know.
No, but
for me, this is a freedom movement. This is a freedom mission. If they're going to the average middle class person and they're taking $2,500 or $2,000 out of your pocket every month, how are we going to be free if you're just going to be a financial slave to the system?
Well, and when you realize that the way insurance works and the ones that are left, they don't pay and they don't want to pay. The government says it'll pay. It uses them as a vestibule. And you have all of this insanity that rewards the drug addicts. It rewards the degenerate. It rewards the obese, and they're happy to be obese. And it penalizes the people who take care of themselves. It is an insane system that there has to be some sort of change in the trajectory of what society is doing. Otherwise, it's clear what it's going to do. It's going to do what it has done since it's been implemented. It's going to bankrupt us. It's going to drive out businesses, and it's going to drive down the quality of healthcare because we're no longer the best healthcare system in the world. We're mediocre at best. And if all you have to do is look at the life expectancy, look at the amount of people that die now versus 30 years ago, and adjust it to population, and it proves that it's a failure, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, our healthcare system is not as good as it is. We have a lower life expectancy than other first world nations. I'm even more concerned, though, about the financial implications that the small business owner, they'll all tell you that their biggest expense is the health insurance that they have to pay. And the thing is, it's not like they're getting value for it. It's not like you're getting like marathon runners at the end of this, right? You're just paying this money out. The people are still sick, right? It's really expensive. It's ridiculous. Every business owner needs to call us at Gold Care.
Gold Care. I love it. Dr. Gold, thank you so much. I always was going to start my own insurance company named Nobody Gets Out Alive. Take care of yourself, moron. We're not paying.
Exactly.
But I didn't think anybody would buy it. Dr. Gold, thank you so much for making time for me. I always appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too. We'll be back.